I pray that your day is blessed, and I pray that you are seeking wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Most High. And I want to share with you some things in my life. So that brings me to why have I started this? First reason is because of my son, to be honest. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have had an awesome life. I've had some great victories. I've had some challenges. I've had some hurts, some shames. But in the big picture, I have been really followed by the Most High. He has stayed with me, just like His Word promises. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I have been through in my life. And why would I want to share that with you? There are people that go through things and are trying to figure out how to get through them. There's hurt that people have experienced and they don't know how to get rid of the pain. And I'm hoping that in some of the things that I will be sharing with you, that you may be able to kind of get on the back of it and grab onto what it is that I may share with you, because our experiences are very similar. May not be the same day, may not be the same year, but nonetheless, we have so many things that's going on in our lives right now. All of the challenges. A couple of years ago, everybody was shut down with COVID. You have rumors of wars and these what do you call it? The weather changes, where there was I forgot what country it was, but the all the water had turned into blood. They had the animals just going and doing everything, and even the movement of the fish, the underwater animals were moving in cycles, and it was really interesting. And everybody's wondering what in the world is going on. Well, I can't tell you that part, but I can say to you that it's wisdom to keep your eye on the Most High and see what He is leading us to do. He said to keep your eyes on me. Even in the Word, it says that in the last days, you will hear about wars and rumors of war. And He warned us to keep His eyes on Him, because all of the chaos, all the deception, all the lies that's going on, it will drive you nuts. And then you think about your children, think about your grandchildren, think about your sisters, your brothers, your family. You get concerned about them, and they have questions, and you see choices that are being made, decisions that are being made that we know at times are leading them to a wrong place. That's not a good thing. It's not comforting to know. But we also know that at times we have to step back and say, Abba, I know that I made some choices that weren't too, how do you say it, wise. They were very unwise. They were wrong choices, thinking that I'd be able to fix a situation, whether it was marriage or whether this job was going to be the perfect job and it was the worst. We all make choices and decisions that aren't necessarily the greatest for a future. And if we're not looking at our future, then we're not looking at the cost of the choices that we're making. So, what I want to explain to you is what I'm going to do. I think I've established a little bit of a format. It's not going to be consistent all the time, but my goal is to share some things in my life that may help you get through some things by faith, by the truth, knowing and understanding who you are, understanding the plan that the Most High has for us. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share it. So I'm here and I have a list of pieces of my life just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be doing. Um, First, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a great grandmother, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter, a niece. And most of my ancestors have gone. But I think my mother is the only one that's left of her family. Yeah, I think she's the last one. And I've learned a lot of things from her. But as I said, I have 4 children, four, 6 grandchildren, a great granddaughter. I love each and every one of them.
Me the best though.
All of my children obviously are grown, and I have a 5-year-old great granddaughter who is, my goodness, that's a piece of work right there. But I love her because she's got so much talent, and she's very smart for her age. This girl was talking clearly. She was speaking clearly at 1.5, 2 years old, and that may not be a big thing to you, but I've seen a lot of children that took until they were 3 or 4 to learn to speak. So I'm proud of her. She's in school, and all of the kids, all the little ones are in school. All of the grown grandkids are grown. And as I continue, I just want to read off some of the little things that I'm going to be sharing from my birth to current, actually. I'm just going to name a few things. Um, in elementary school, in elementary school, I was the first grader to be in the school choir. That's major because you couldn't get in the school music department until you were in the 3rd grade. So, yay! Okay. And then, unfortunately, not too far after that, I had a cousin who chose to molest me for 4 years in my young life, starting around 8 to about 10, to about 12, 11 or 12 years old. And there's a lot that I have to say about that portion of my life. And throughout school, obviously, I loved to sing, but the other part of it was I was also a dancer. I went to modeling school. Um, we're not getting into the boyfriends for a long time, but anyway, then I was married. Um, some of you may have experienced it. Most of you may have experienced, but my first marriage was to a man who was a narcissist, who was an expert at mental and emotional abuse as well as physical. Um, then, if you saw the video that I did a couple of weeks ago, that one was of the Wattstax Summer Festival that was in 1972, where I was a part of the audience, and that clip of a clip of that video was
It low key went viral, like before viral was a thing. Right,
yes,
right. Like people recognize that video from a picture.
yes,
And I remember we went to the Watchtax Museum. What was that, 2011?
yeah,
2010, 2011?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they had a whole section dedicated to the girl in the polka dot dress.
Yep,
Yeah, I remember.
that was me.
Yep.
That was me. And then after the Wattstacks, 1 year later, I found myself in an audition to become one of the ICATs with Ike and Tina Turner. That's going to be a bit of a season of teachings because I learned a lot. We used to call it the Turner School of Music. So you learned about life. Y'all see things that are going on in the industry right now that's blowing your mind. I have to admit, I don't think it was that bad when I was with Ike and Tina, but it has done some strange things that is just so not cool. And let's see. I'll be talking about the touring, the auditions, the things that I had to go through, things that I got caught up in. It'll be a lot. It'll be a lot. But and there's a dark part of my life that I will share about that I went through 3 times, 3 separate times. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I moved to Denver with 3 children. After after almost a year, began going to church. Yeah. Yeah. Now, was I introduced to church before? Yes, I was 21. I needed some place to stay. I stayed with my aunt, but the deal was I had to go to church with her and her family every time they went to church. Trust me, that was a lot. But that was my introduction. But when I got that call to be with Ike and Tina, yeah, that went out the window. I moved to Denver and then came back, visited for Christmas, and was asked to be a guest conductor or director for their music department for their Christmas program. I can't even remember what year that was. But um, I remember when the pastor, who I knew very well, he was the manager of a dear friend's office. That's where I met him. Anyway, Velma Union, who we lost her a couple of weeks ago. Ooh,
R.I.P.
that was heavy. That was like a spiritual mom to me, and
Right.
that was that was that. It's some things that we are forced to accept in life, and some of us we just feel so confounded about it. It's like, not her. Are you kidding me? But it's Most High's timing. We don't know His time, so we got to get it together. That's all I can say. Um, So I did that, and when I went back to Denver a couple of months later, I get a call from Pastor Maxie James, and he said, "Why don't you come down here? What you doing in Denver?" And when I told him nothing, I'm just kind of here, and he says, "Well, why don't you come back to California and be the head of my music department?" I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Okay, well, let me check into it." So that's where I ended up in church, and I served there as the music director and learned a lot. He was an awesome teacher. That's one thing I can say. That brother knew the word, and I learned a lot there. Anyway, and then in 2016, let me say this. In 2009, I was at a church that I really loved, but I was starting to feel some kind of way. For about 5 years, I just struggled and kept asking the Most High questions. It's like, why are people doing this? And where does it say people are slain in the spirit? And what is it that is? They don't tell the whole story. They don't tell the truth. I'm gonna talk about some of that, about how Scripture doesn't always line up with what I was taught in Christianity, and I know that it's still going on today. Um, and I'm not knocking Christianity. That's where I've got my beginnings. So I'm not no Christian basher. So please do not assume that I am against Christianity. I know some people in Christianity still that are totally faithful, that constantly praying. They are gifted in the prophetic. They're gifted in different things, and they have callings on their lives, and they're fulfilling those callings. They're humble and loving people. So please do not go off talking about she's an Israelite and she's bashing Christianity or she's bashing any kind of religion. I am not that woman. So let's get that straight from the gate. And anyway, during that time in 2000, did I say 2009, 2008? When I was in the church, it was two times the Most High spoke to me and said, "I told you to leave." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he said it again about a year later. That last time he told me, I never returned to church as a member. I visited from time to time because I missed the assembling, the gathering together. I missed the worship, and I would visit different churches from time to time. But they were. I'd ask him. I said, "Is this where you want me to be? The praise is so powerful," and blah 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 blah. And all I heard was crickets. So I did not join any churches. I did not join any assemblies. So um, 7 years into that, as 7 years after that, I called a friend. I had an accident in my car and I couldn't drive it. And I'm not going to say her name, but this is the true story. I hadn't talked to her in about maybe 6 months. And I said, let me call her and see how she's doing. And when she heard my voice, she said, Sister Yolanda, I said, yeah, how you doing? She said, girl, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I said, yeah, that's why I'm checking on you. And she said, girl, she said, are you sitting down? Do you have a minute? I said, sure. She said, I have been homeless for 3 months. And I was in shock because for her, that was just not her character. I did not understand that. She started to tell me how she became homeless, as she had gotten 2 jobs. She had gotten her a place. And about 2 or 3 months after she had gotten really set up and comfortable, she lost the second job. Then she lost the first one the next week after buying a brand new car, mind you. And she ended up sleeping in her car at a restaurant every night for 3 months. And she said she did that because she felt comfortable, because she was right under the lights and the restaurant was 24 hours. So while I was talking to her, I said, well, in my situation, I really can't do much, but what is it that you need? And when she told me what she said it like this, I'll never forget it. She said, Yolanda, you have no idea what I would do to be able to sit at a table and have food on a plate and drink out of a glass or a cup. She said, I can't tell you how awesome would feel if I was able to stretch out in a bed and just get one night's sleep. And I said, okay, let me call you back. So I called a lady who I know I better not say her name. I'll hear about that forever. Anyway, she said, meet me at the bank tomorrow morning and I'll give you something for her. And she gave me $200 to give her. And I met her at my house at 9:30. And I handed her the money. We talked for a bit, and then she was pulling off. This is my introduction to the Hebrew Israelites. And as I was walking in my gate, she was pulling off, and then she hit her brakes, and she screamed my name. And she said, Yolanda. I said, yeah, what's going on? She says, did you know you? I was like, girl, I can't understand that. She stood up. She said, did you know that you're a Hebrew Israelite? I said, what in the world is a Hebrew Israelite? And she said, you never heard of them? I said, no. So she said, I'm going to send you some videos. I said, okay. That girl sent me about 30 videos. I was like, what in the world? What in the world is this? So every video that she sent me on one of the emails, it was 2 emails, and each one of them had, like I said, about 15 videos on it. And the first one that I opened was a bunch of different people. They were no more than 5, 10, 15 minutes at the most in length. And they were people from all over the world. Not one black person, not one African American, not even one African. All of them said simultaneously, the Negroes in America need to wake up because they are the true chosen people of the Most High. And I was like, what? And I'm looking at these videos. I'm like, what is this? I've never heard this, right? So I go to the next email and I start listening to Brother Yerushalayim. And the video was the conspiracy of the hidden identity of blacks in the Bible. That doggone video, I must have watched it 3, 4, 5 times in my lifetime so far. This past 6.5, 7 years, I think I've listened to it at least 12, 13 times because every now and then I go back to it. But I listened to Deborah and Watchmen. I listened to Yoshiyahu and Huldah. I listened to a few different ones. Over the last few years, it's been more of Benaiah, Israel, Big Judah, um, Prue Renfro, Eliezer. There's a lot of them that I listen to, but it's not consistent because I've been busy with the first responders. The first responders is a calling that the Most High put on my life where I started an intercessory prayer line. So I am up every morning in prayer for the Mishpachah, for the people, for the things of the Most High, the things that is going on in the world. We get on there at 7 in the morning, sometimes 6. If I get there too early, I'll even text them, "Are you guys up? I'm in the room," and they'll come in. And we are intercessors. We're called to intercede for the people. So it is a pleasure. It is an honor to know that He's called us up to be with Him in the mornings. And I'm grateful for every one of them that come on the line consistently. And we just support one another and continue to come up with different things that the Most High puts in our spirit to pray about. But as you could tell, in my life, I've done some things that I'm going to be talking about. And I'm hoping that you'll come back to check it out because there's a lot of things that I've gone through. And like I said, some victories, some failures, some mistakes, some great choices. But then I think that the way things are going right now, the world is not the same as it was when I was making those kind of choices. And I can see clearly now some of the things that are going on right now are leading so many people astray, leading so many people the wrong direction. So I just hope that you come back and
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Comment anything you would want to see.
Yeah.
See Miss Ahavah talk about, and any questions about her life you might have, about the road life or the Hebrew life or the vocal coaching life or anything that might be of interest to add to the show.
So, with that being said, I'm glad you stopped in. I hope that you come back to see what's going on in the world and how we can get through it, how we can get past it, how the Most High is showing us what's going on. And He gives us hope every day. We have not lost hope. He has kept His promises when He said He has not left us or forsaken us. It's just amazing the things that He's doing. So I'm grateful. I live a life of gratefulness, and I just pray that all of you are well and that you're seeking the Most High for His truth, for wisdom, for direction, but more than anything, truth, because we're going to get into a lot of that. One of the things I'm going to share this. One of the things that really stuck with me about 6 months into this walk, after learning so much and going to a couple of events and really seeing what's going on with the people. One of the things the Most High said to me while I was sitting listening to some of the teachings, and I was kind of like in awe. I don't even remember what message I was listening to, but I remember Him saying to me, "You will never understand my word until you know your history." And ever since then, I have not been able to let go, because now that I've connected our history to the scriptures, there's no question to me who I am, who I serve, who I belong to, and how I am to walk in this life. There's much outside the 66. Anyway, I love you all. May Yah bless you and keep you. And I'll see you next time. Shalom, shalom. Mwah.